used to do house calls in the hills of the Appalachain Mountains. Many of my patients lived off the grid without running water or electricity. Many times I didn't have cell service or GPS that I could use to navigate to the homes, so I would use the compass in my car and a map to get to my patients. All of the stories are changed for the sake of HIPAA and storytelling, as always. And yesterday, the sound was removed from my video because I violated TikTok guidelines because I said the name of a drug without thinking. So let me try that again, I'm sorry. Instead of saying the name of the drug, we're just gonna say sugar, because it's a little bit of, you know what I'm talking about. So I arrived at this patient's home. It's in a very nice neighborhood, it's in a quiet area. I knock on the door, right? Patient comes and greets me. It is a little old lady, and I can tell from her chart, she's like over 90, almost 100 years old, right? She is dressed to the T's, like dressed up for this visit. I immediately feel underdressed. I walk into the home, she greets me in, and the home is pristine, spotless. This is one of those homes where everything has a place, right? She walks me through the entryway, through the living room, over this plush, really nice carpet. I took my shoes off. She sits me down at the dining room table on this beautiful, a really nice fabric chair, and we're having a nice discussion. We started the visit, and then we get to the part of the visit where I always ask patients about substance use. And I don't ever judge people based on how they look, because you really never know what someone is doing. So I ask everyone the same question, which I cannot ask because TikTok will take me down again. But so I said, do you use any of these substances? And she goes, oh, just a little bit of sugar in the morning. And I laughed. I'm like, we know that this lady isn't having the Coca-Cola in the morning. Like, she's joking. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and she's like, no, I do a little bit every morning just to get my day started. And I was like, what? Are you serious? And she's like, yeah, it perks me up in the morning. Ma'am, I bet it does. I bet it does. I'm like, you really shouldn't be doing that. Like, it's really not very good for you. And this woman goes, you are 1/3 of my age. Mind your business. Okay, Miss Ma'am. Fair. That's fair. Who am I to tell you? But like, you're gonna eventually have problems. And she's like, eventually. I'm almost 100 years old. Again, fair. And that's when I realized, I'm like, this is why her house is so clean. Like, the house is spotless. I bet my house would be spotless too if I was having a little bit of the 1900s Coca-Cola with the extra something still in it, right? Now, this woman looks very put together, like I said. I want you to picture like Emily Gilmore, if you watch Gilmore Girls, like very proper, very together. So, and like almost 100 years old. So I'm like, who are you buying this from? Who is selling this to you? I want to know. Who is your plug? Who's selling the almost 100-year-old this special sugar? And she goes, why? Do you need some? No, ma'am, I don't need some. I just want to know who is doing this. Like, someone's grandma is out here buying the hard stuff. But I think this experience was a really great reminder of why I do things the way I do. And really a good reminder, all of us in healthcare. It doesn't matter if I'm taking care of the president, the pope, a homeless man, I don't care. Everyone should be treated the same. And I was still very surprised though. Now, the day before yesterday, I showed you some little bed bug bites, which are starting to resolve now, or at least I thought they were bed bug bites, right? And people were asking, what do I spray myself with? So you can buy this online. It's called Premo, Premo, and I get the travel size online. And it says for bed bugs, mites, lice, and fleas, shake well before using, spray bedding, carpet, luggage, peace of mind when traveling, effective and scent-free, child and pet friendly. So the active ingredient in this is the sodium lauryl sulfate, 3%, and sodium chloride, salt water, 1%. So I have been doing home health, let's see, I did home health PRN before I went full time. So for a total of like 5-6 years now, I've been going in and out of people's houses. Besides the fly situation, which was a very specific situation. I don't think that had anything to do with infestation. I think that was something more. But besides that situation, I only had one other instance where I brought bugs into my home. And that was actually pretty recently, okay? So I'm in someone's house, right? And I'm looking at their dog. And the dog is not looking great. And I said, like, is the dog okay? Is the dog sick? And they're like, oh yeah, the dog is fine. And I'm like, does the dog have fleas? And they were like, no, the dog doesn't have fleas. They actually looked pretty insulted that I asked. And I apologize. I'm so sorry. It just looked like maybe, you know, the dog looks kind of beat up. That's nor here nor there. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologized. They said the dog had fleas, but doesn't have fleas anymore. Okay, well, that would explain why it looks like that then. Okay. Well, I leave the home and my ankles are bit up. And like, for me at least, bed bug bites almost turn into like a welt. Like eventually I'll either bother them enough where they like scab over and they're kind of big. But flea bites, to me, on me, look just like a pinprick. Like they're very, very small. Just like a little red pinprick, okay? And so I left and my ankles were very bitten up and very swollen. So I go home, take my clothes off. If I'm in a home where I know there's bed bugs, I know there's fleas, I know there's whatever, scrubs come off on my front porch. I'm running through the house naked, get directly in the shower and take a shower, then the scrubs go in a garbage bag. I just get rid of them. So if there are any scrub companies out there that want to rep with me, you let me know, because I go through a lot of scrubs, okay? Now in this particular situation, like I said, I did not think I brought any fleas into the house. But then 2 days after this, now my cats are already treated prophylactically, like they already have flea medicine. But 2 days after this, I noticed my cat, Nims, the one you always hear in the background, itching like crazy. And I'm like, oh man, I don't love that. So I take a look at his fleas. So I reached out to my vet and I'm like, he's on flea medicine. So like, I don't understand how there are fleas on him. I thought that would have prevented this. She's like, well, the front line, I guess it wasn't working super great this year. Great. So I had to treat him orally. And if you have one flea, you don't have a flea. You have fleas, okay? There's more, just like bed bugs, okay? So I'm like, no, we have to have the house sprayed. Like when you have fleas, it's not just like, oh, you just spray. No, you have to wash everything, okay? Like everything. The house sprayed, I get the cat treated. It was a nightmare. Luckily we caught it early and we managed it. But it is very easy to move these things from one home to another. My theory is it must have been caught in my hair or something and survived being washed. That's the only thing I did speak to someone who works in pest control and exterminator in the area and ask them like what my patients can do to spray their homes. Is there anything they can buy to spray their homes with if they can't afford an exterminator? And he actually told me what to buy on a website. I will post that sometime this weekend because I understand having an exterminator out is really, I know this sounds crazy, but that's a luxury. Like, that's expensive, and a lot of the time my patients can't afford that. So I will post what he recommended that be used. I hope you guys have a very safe and happy weekend. Don't do drugs. And my horse is seeing the dentist and his foot doctor today. I usually don't post on the weekends, but I think it would be so amazing to share some of that with you. I don't know if you've ever seen a horse go to the dentist, but it looks like something straight out of a horror movie. See you later, Beebs.